80% of the league are free agents. Like everyone timed their contracts. Everybody signed 1-year deals and everyone timed their contracts to coincide with this new CBA. So literally there's not even really any teams. There's only like 20% of the
Ladies and gentlemen, stop whatever you're doing, because what I'm about to tell you is pure madness. The WNBA's collective bargaining meltdown has been spiraling for weeks. We've talked about the jealousy, the infighting, the financial delusion, but today, it reached an entirely new level. Because Ramona Shelburne just went on the Rich Eisen show and dropped an absolute nuclear truth bomb on national television. And once you hear it, you will understand just how chaotic things have gotten behind the scenes. This is no longer a labor dispute. This is a hostage situation. According to Shelburne, 80% of the WNBA is currently unemployed. Let me say that again so it sinks in. 80%. For out of every 5 professional players in the league do not have a team right now. And here's the craziest part. This wasn't an accident. This was coordinated. This was planned. The union engineered a mass contract expiration to squeeze the owners for leverage, creating a world where the league literally does not have enough players under contract to play a game. A manufactured crisis that has pushed the entire sport to the edge of a cliff. Remember those embarrassing Valentine's Day poems the union posted? Yeah, that was nothing. Because what Shelburne revealed next is pure insanity. Last season, the WNBA told its players to sign 1-year deals. They told them, bet on yourselves. When the Caitlin Clark money arrives, we all cash out together. But here's the problem with playing financial chicken. Eventually someone has to swerve. And right now, nobody is swerving. We have 2 brand new expansion teams, Toronto expansion team and Portland expansion team. Do you know how many players are on their rosters? 0. They cannot hold an expansion draft because there is no collective bargaining agreement. You cannot draft players into a salary system that does not exist. You cannot sign free agents when the salary cap is a giant question mark. The entire infrastructure of the WNBA is frozen solid by a union waiting for a fantasy payday that isn't real. And then comes the most humiliating part. The WNBA just released its regular season schedule, including the Indiana Fever versus New York Liberty matchup on April 25th, and many fans thought, oh great, the season is on track. No, according to Shelburne, that schedule drop wasn't confidence. It was desperation, a panic move by the league. She literally called it a blink. And the reason they had to blink? Because they're running out of time, leverage, and workable solutions. The situation is far worse than anyone imagined.
we're getting close here, Rich. I mean, I thought it was interesting the league put out a schedule because one of the pressure points I had been hearing was literally arena dates. You know how this goes. Like,
Yeah.
if you don't have your dates on the schedule, they give them away to some concert. They give them away to some circus that comes to town, or they give them away to anybody else who wants to use the arena. Arenas cannot have open dates. And if you want those open dates, you gotta lock those in. So the league went forward with the idea of let's do the schedule, even though we don't even know who's on what team. And I thought that was a blink.
Did you hear this? The WNBA had to release a fake schedule for teams that don't even have rosters yet, just to stop their arenas from being booked by the circus. I'm not joking. The premier women's basketball league in the world, the league that has Caitlin Clark, Aya Wilson, and Sabrina Ionescu, is literally competing with traveling clown shows and monster truck rallies for arena space. And why? Because the players' union is dragging its feet. Breanna Stewart and Nneka Agwamike are demanding 30% of gross revenue from a league that has lost money for 30 years. The owners had to panic and publish a schedule just to keep the lights on. It's amateur hour on steroids. The union wants NBA treatment, private jets, max contracts. But here's the problem. NBA arenas don't bump LeBron James for the Ringling Brothers. This is what happens when ambition outpaces reality. The players are demanding billion-dollar respect while running a league still fighting for scraps. And that brings us to the elephant in the room, the one thing that actually matters. Rich Eisen, a veteran who's seen every labor dispute in modern sports, cut straight through the noise and pointed out the real reason everyone is watching this league right now.
I don't mean to be flippant, but again, there's a golden goose that's getting more valuable here. And, and stars, I mean, Juju Watkins is going to be healthy. Like, this is rubber meat in the...
The golden goose, Caitlin Clark, is under threat, and Rich Eisen said it perfectly. The union is playing a dangerous game with the single greatest asset the WNBA has ever had. Caitlin Clark's value keeps rising, yet the WNBPA is actively trying to strangle it. Do you realize how fragile this momentum is? She brought millions of new viewers, sellout crowds, and a massive television deal. But here's the problem. Those fans aren't loyal to the league. They're loyal to the player. If the union forces a lockout, if May rolls around and Caitlin Clark isn't hitting logo threes on TV, those fans won't wait. They'll switch to the NBA playoffs. They'll leave the sport. And once casual fans walk away, it's nearly impossible to get them back. The entitlement of the union leadership is staggering. They genuinely think the audience will sit patiently while they fight over revenue sharing in the boardroom. That is not how entertainment works. The window of cultural relevance is tiny. Right now, the WNBA is hot. Shut it down for a month. The product cools off fast. Meanwhile, veterans who've never generated a dime of profit claim they built the game. Blinded by jealousy and greed, they're using 80% free agency chaos to hold Caitlin Clark's sophomore season hostage. Let's break down the timeline, because the clock is ticking. Ramona Shelburne warned the pressure point isn't today, it's March. In just a few weeks, the league has to figure out the salary cap, hold expansion drafts for Toronto expansion team and Portland expansion team, negotiate contracts for 80% of players, run the collegiate draft, open training camps. That's months of work crammed into weeks. Even if a deal happens tomorrow, free agency chaos will be unprecedented. Imagine 100 players fighting for roster spots on the same day. General managers scrambling to build chemistry with players they just met. The product on the floor in May will suffer, all because the union chose to play hardball in February. Who's running this circus? Nneka Ogwumike, Brianna Stewart, and Nalissa Smith. Wealthy, established stars with overseas money, endorsement deals, and league supplements. They can afford to sit out. But what about the rookie trying to make the team? The bubble player living on a minimum contract? The union leadership is disconnected from the financial reality of their own members. They're playing a billionaire's poker game with other people's chips. Adam Silver sees it. He knows the union is driving the car off a cliff. Miss March, and the golden goose dies. Disney, Amazon, NBC, the networks aren't paying billions for a league that can't even guarantee players will show up. If the union drags this into a lockout, the networks have clauses to renegotiate or walk away. The players think they're fighting for a bigger slice, but they're about to drop the entire pie on the floor. This is a masterclass in how to ruin a good thing.